Our top story is, of course, the president expressing that disappointment in an American icon. The commander-in-chief not happy with General Motors' decision to cut thousands of jobs in the United States, close factories in Michigan and Ohio. The president sending a firm message to GM yesterday.
Well, we don't like it. I believe they'll be opening up something else. And I was very tough. I spoke with her when I heard they were closing. And I said, you know, this country's done a lot for General Motors. You better get back in there soon. That's Ohio. And you better get back in there soon. So we have a lot of pressure on them. You have senators. You have a lot of other people, a lot of pressure. They say the Chevy Cruze is not selling well. I say, well, then get a car that is selling well and put it back in. So I think you're going to see something else happen there, but I'm not happy about it. Their car is not selling well, so they'll put something else. I have no doubt that in a not-too-distant future, they'll put something else. They better put something else in.
And obviously the president not happy after all of the, I guess, pressure he put on corporate America to create jobs. Now this, Dagan.
Well, he put pressure on the likes of General Motors by slapping on steel and aluminum tariffs in this country. And earlier this year, GM, you've been warned. You've been warned on this program, and you've been warned by these manufacturers. You're raising the cost of our steel by 25%, potentially even more. 10% in the case of aluminum, and GM said we're going to see higher costs annually of about $1 billion. So how do you handle that? You try to negotiate prices lower with your suppliers, you raise prices for consumers, or you cut cost. And this is one of the reasons. So this is not, GM did not go into this because I would argue that GM's trying to avoid an even bigger, loud public fight with the president and the administration. But again, steel and aluminum tariffs help steel and aluminum workers in this country, but companies that use steel and aluminum get hit. And I would argue that this is direct fallout from that.
And you've said this from the beginning, actually, in terms of the steel and aluminum, comparing the number of jobs that are impacted in the steel and aluminum industries versus the number of jobs impacted by the industrial giants that use that commodity.
They can remove these steel and aluminum tariffs and see what happens. John might disagree with me, but I think that certainly this is plays into part of the decision.
Well, it's steel and aluminum, and it's also the fact that gasoline prices are falling. People just aren't they're not buying these small cars, especially the small U.S. label cars, the Cruze, the Ford Fiesta. The Ford is cutting back on its production there too. So I think that's a big part of it.
It's a good point, because the electric vehicle really never caught traction. It just didn't catch traction in a big way. And I bring it back to Carlos Ghosn from Nissan, who was the first to come out with an electric car, and he was betting on it a decade ago, and it just never took fire.
Although, ironically, what GM says now is that they want to invest more in that kind of technology, but they don't want it. But they're actually doing it in Silicon Valley and not in Detroit. And that gets to another part of what the president is doing. We're talking about job losses in Michigan and Ohio. These are states that the president has to carry in 2 years. And I think what we're seeing right there is the politician, Donald Trump, and not the businessman, Donald Trump, laying into these companies.
These are states that the Democrats won in the midterm elections in almost every way. They were Trump states 2 years ago, and they were Democrat states in the most recent midterms. Another thing to point out, though, I think that the president, quite frankly, does have the room to browbeat a General Motors, because less than 10 years ago, it was government motors. The federal government bailed out GM. Many analysts, even back then, said, listen, they still had way too many plants in this country. They had too much capacity to produce cars in this country. They're trying to right-size it. But in terms of the president anybody in government going after GM, the American taxpayer saved that company. So
that's what the GM put itself in this position by getting bailed out. But what they're saying now is, listen, we're trying to get ourselves organized properly so that we don't have to do these kind of massive layoffs 2 or 3 years.
Well, and the layoffs that are happening, more than half of the layoffs that are occurring are skilled workers, and they're being laid off into this robust job market at the unemployment rate, 3.7, 50%, or a 50-year low. There's 7 million job openings out there, so there are opportunities. This is a better environment to be laid off in except down the road in 2 years, maybe when the country's in a recession. I get the factory worker argument, though, and maybe it's time for them to reinvent themselves. You look back at steel workers several decades ago. They had to go through the same thing.
The unemployment rate in Michigan is around 4%, exceptionally low, and a heck of a lot lower than it was back.
It was double digits in Michigan when at
close
the time
to
of the bailout.
15% in Detroit.
Yeah, and to your point, 8,000 of the 14,800 workers are salaried employees in North America. So you're right, it's about 8,000.
But there's been an impact, obviously, on the stock, and there's big debate about this. We'll keep watching this. GM shares should be among the most heavily traded today.